Brilliance Audio presents the abridged recording of A Perfect Life, a novel, by Danielle Steel, performed by Edoardo Ballerini. Crowds of students began congregating outside Royce Hall Auditorium at UCLA, 2 hours before Congressman Patrick Olden was scheduled to speak, an hour before they opened the doors. He had been invited by an enterprising professor who taught a class on citizenship and public service, open to juniors and seniors. But once the congressman accepted, he had sent out notices to all political science majors, and the auditorium was expected to be full. He was a popular congressman, with a liberal voting record dedicated to the underdog, and was known for championing minorities, including women, and sympathetic to the issues of youth and the elderly. And he had 4 kids of his own. He was married to his childhood sweetheart, and everybody loved him. The crowd was orderly once the doors were open on a brilliantly sunny, warm October day. Olden was scheduled to begin addressing them at 11, with time set aside for questions from the audience after his speech. Getting him there at all had been a major coup. It wasn't for a commencement address or a law school graduation. It was just a class, and students and professors alike were thrilled to have him there. Patrick Olden appeared on the stage less than 10 minutes late, while they waited backstage for the crowd to settle down. He stood at the podium with his warm smile, his eyes sweeping the crowd. You could hear a pin drop in the room when he began, and students without seats sat cross-legged in the aisles and stood at the back of the room. They paid rapt attention to everything he said about government today, and what their responsibilities would be if they chose a career in politics or public service. He sounded earnest and sincere, and the audience hung on his every word and greeted him with thunderous applause when he was through. The professor who had invited him opened the question and answer period, and 100 hands shot into the air. The questions were pointed and intelligent and relevant to what he had said. They were 20 minutes into it, when a boy in the 3rd row stood up as soon as the congressman pointed at him, and looked him in the eye with a welcoming smile. "What's your position on gun control now?" the young man asked him, which was a topic he hadn't touched on that day and didn't want to. He was gentle but firm in his views in favor of gun control, but it was a sensitive issue that had had no place in his talk, advising them about careers in government, and it was a subject he had chosen to avoid. The boy who asked the question had neatly combed blonde hair, was clean-shaven, and was wearing a blue
Sample complete. Ready to continue?